It's been an interesting journey as an entrepreneur. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur while I was working at Godrej in this job while I was selling chickens. So I think it's been a very interesting and a very fruitful journey, I think. When we started off by doing something else, actually, we were not selling financial products. We were we were providing offline services to the online companies, and then we moved on to distributing telecom products. It was only in 2002 that we got into financial services, the distribution space, because we realized it was a space which was opening up in the country. A lot of private players were entering into this space, and India being a very vast market, we always believed there's going to be a big space for a financial services, a distribution company, or a financial services supermarket. So I think that is the reason we got into this space, and I'm very happy with the decision that we took in 2002. And we've come a long way. Today we are India's largest financial services distribution company. We have 4,000 people. We are present in 150 locations. And we have multiple channels which we use to reach out to the Indian mid-market. So that change occurred in 2002 while we were into telecom distribution. We were looking at an area in which we can really scale, we can really grow the organization and take it to a national level. When I started as an entrepreneur, the aspiration was always to create an organization which is very large, create that scale wherein people look up to and say, hey, here is something which is very unique. So that's what the intent always was. And when we looked around in 2002, we realized that the financial services sector was opening up. There were banks which were coming into retail asset products. There were insurance companies who were getting into selling various insurance products. Mutual fund was opening up. And so all the various categories of financial products were opening up. But there were not too many viable channels of distribution which were available, A, to these manufacturers, and B, from the consumer's perspective, there were not too many viable options wherein they can go and buy a financial product. So for example, a consumer had an option of buying it from an individual agent, historically the way the LIC agents used to sell. But then the consumer won't have an option of looking at multiple products or multiple choices within a particular category of the product. So for example, an insurance agent sells only one brand of insurance. So if I am a consumer, I have to myself do that comparison of various brands. That was one. Second choice the consumer that had and till today has is the banks. So when a consumer walks into a bank, again, he's sold only one brand. So we thought it might be a great option actually for us to go and get into the market and go to households and say, hey, we have got complete range of financial products, whatever your needs might be. Needs could be on retail asset products like loans, various kind of loans like mortgages, personal loans. It could be on insurance side like life insurance, health insurance, auto insurance, etc., etc. And we become a single stop shop wherein we have all brands which are available. So the consumer does not really have to undergo that pain of going to various outlets and trying to compare those products on their own. Actually, we offer a one-stop shop for all comparisons, availability of all products. So it's like being a supermarket. So that's that logically looked like a very, very strong thought. And also secondly, when we did some sizing of the financial services market, it was really very big. So today if you see, it's a 30,000 crore revenue potential market every year. And till today, approximately 65-70% of this market is with unorganized players, these individual agents and mom and pop shops. So, wherever in the services sector, wherever on the distribution side, the market is unorganized, there is always a great potential for people to come in, entrepreneurs to come in, organizations to come in and kind of, just put a very organized play in place. And I think that's what we did. And
so
that's come in very
handy.
How was
the competition landscape then and how it is now?
So competition landscape then was largely from individual agents. I still remember when we started selling, we used to face competition from a lot of these local mom and pop shops or agents, which is now translated more to banks, I would say, because banks have become very large players in this space. But actually at the ground level, Shrija, if you really ask me, there is hardly any competition because the market is so underpenetrated. So actually when you go and meet a consumer, not too many consumers say, hey, I've got an option or an offer from somebody else for the same product. So it's a push market. B, it is very vast market. So India has close to 6,000 towns, cities in which financial products can be sold. And NetAmbit being the market leaders on, in this space, we are present only in 150 cities. So that's the level of penetration one is speaking about. It's only some of the PSUs banks, so for example, State Bank of India has 14,000 plus branches. So they have a deeper penetration, but obviously they sell only their own brands. So I think the market is very vast. India is underinsured. India is underbanked. Financial inclusion is very poor. So I think market is a non-issue. So market is very vast, and I think there is a long way to go for organizations like us to grow in this space. Shrija, yes, there were a lot of challenges, and challenges are still there. So it's never, I think, I personally believe that as an entrepreneur, the challenges never die, because the day that challenges die, the kick of being an entrepreneur, kind of stops happening. So I think initial challenges were largely around a capital because we always build this organization on internal accrual. So we started in year 2000. I started this company with a lakh of rupees, and that is the only capital till date we have put into this company as promoters. It's only in 2007 that we raised our first round of private equity with Bessemer Venture Partners, and then Series B was raised with BVP and Helion Venture Partners, and Series C again was done by Helion and Bessemer Venture Partners. So initially the challenge was definitely capital. You had limited resources, but I saw that as an opportunity, because what that taught us, was as a group of people is your cost consciousness. So when you have limited capital, I believe that's actually it's a good thing to have initially while you are starting as an entrepreneur, because you really start to learn, you really start to kind of value money. You really start to look at ROIs on every investment that you make. So I think it was a great thing to have happened. I think another big challenge that we faced initially, and I think that continued till 2007 2008, was your ability to attract good talent. So when you are a smaller company, when you are a mid-sized company, I think that is the biggest a challenge I would say that we faced. So this is our biggest channel, which is direct marketing. Then we have a branch channel. Then we have a channel called venue marketing. We have an internet channel, which is rupeetalk.com. Then we have a channel which is called alliances, wherein we tie up with companies who have large consumer base, but they don't sell financial products. So we get into kind of an alliance with them.
Partnership kind of stuff.
Kind of a partnership, yes, with them, wherein we sell to their existing consumer base on a revenue share. A USP of NetAmbit, Shrija, is processes. So we treat sales and distribution like science.
It's paperless here.
Yeah, so it's like science. We break down everything into processes. So in fact, you're not seeing here. So including we have a process for you see, their lunch boxes they put here because we don't allow. So as per their workstation numbers, they get those lunch boxes at the time of their lunch break inside the cafeteria. So everything has a process well defined how the things will work. So that is the reason for our success. So we are not ad hoc in our approach. We are very process driven. We totally go by processes.
We saw lockers outside Vignesh. What is the reason behind that?
No, the reason is, Shija, we always try to make our call centers paperless, penless and mobile-less from a data security perspective. For us, the consumer's information and data is extremely critical and important. We place a lot of value on consumers' privacy. So hence we have made all our offices penless, paperless, mobile-less, so that nobody carries inside any medium on which they can take down any consumer information and can go out. So this is the reason we have individual lockers for everybody, and they keep all their stuff inside while they get into the office for working. Now I'm sure some of the international call centers might be doing it, but yes, a lot of the people who follow a domestic model, I don't think they would have invested in something like this.
Vignesh, one thing about NetAmbit that we've heard from everyone is like the kind of process-driven organization that it is. So it's kind of processes that will really help you scale the organization to this extent.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, Shrija, we realized while we were starting up to scale, that what's important to really stay afloat and kind of really grow in a manner which is very efficient is, that you need to have very strong processes in place, because we are into people business, we use people to really expand and grow. And unless you have processes which are very clearly laid out, defined, it's very difficult to maintain that growth and, to have those kind of controls which are required in a financial services business. So hence we've always laid a lot of emphasis on the kind of processes we have and the kind of processes we follow. And we've always realized that, that works extremely well for us. And I think we've converted our entire sales and distribution model into a very process-driven model. And I think we combine it with a lot of passion, which really ensures, that we are really on track in terms of our numbers, etc.
What exactly is the sales and distribution model? People actually say that you can sell anything now. You have such a strong sales distribution franchise. How have you achieved that?
Shrija, there are various components to it, and it's a journey that we have kind of evolved, and it's very true what people say. I think we can today sell actually anything, and I think it's largely because of the fact that we hire very high quality people. So there is a very strong process in which who can get hired within NetAmbit, and we have a separate assessment team, a separate hiring team. So it starts with the point of time when we hire the people. The second step is the way we train the people. We lay a lot of emphasis on training the people right. So in fact, we invest heavily on training. So for example, for everybody who joins this organization has to undergo a 21-day long training program, which is very unique in itself. And after that, I think combined with a lot of process controls, the way a particular thing was. So we have a process defined for in fact everything, very small things. So I think we have multiple processes which work. And I think the way the model works, I think it's really worked very effectively for us, and it's a fact that we can practically sell everything today.
Okay. You actually call your model as a hub and spoke model. What exactly is that? So you have basically a sales and distribution machinery within
Yes, yes. So I think the hub and spoke model in our case is always referred to our direct marketing model. Our direct marketing model is a very unique model. It's a call center based model. In fact, Forbes called us kings of non-affinity owing to this direct marketing model only. And I think it's a very unique model. We start with any cold base. We don't have any well-defined base of the consumers that we really want to reach out to initially. We do the need identification of the consumers over phone using our call centers. And the reason it's called hub and spoke model because we have 6 hubs which are our call centers which are based in all parts of the country which help us get these linguistic abilities. So today we have the call centers based out of Noida, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, Calcutta and Mumbai. So that gives us all linguistic capabilities to reach out to any part of this country. And once the leads are generated, which are extremely high quality leads, we have our sales guys who are now located at these spokes, which is approximately 150 locations, and we are adding more locations every financial year. And then they go and meet the client as per a prefixed appointment, and then they go and kind of close the sale for any particular kind of financial product. So hence it's called a hub and spoke model, and it works very efficiently for us.
global comparable that you have for NetAmbit?
On the financial services distribution side, there is definitely a model in China, which is a company called CN Insure, but I don't think they use direct marketing to that great extent. A direct marketing model, what the kind of model NetAmbit runs, I'm being told again and again by people, and this information I'm not very sure on, but still I would like to share, is it's a very unique model. In fact, someone told me that McKinsey was doing a study and they went to the extent of saying they've not seen this kind of a model working anywhere in Asia. So I'm not sure at the world level, but I think at Asia at least I'm reasonably sure that this kind of a model is very unique.
What's the model in China? How does that differ from your model?
So China, this company CN Insure works on a lot of agents. So they don't have their own employees; they have agents who work for them. So I think that is the way they are very different as compared to us. We have all employees. We have our own workforce on our own roles. So we have 4,000 plus people who work with us in multiple channels, and we acquire the customers using our own employees. By March, we want to be 7,000 people organized. In our business, the biggest challenge is people, to get the right set of people. Nothing else is challenge. Market is too big. Fortunately for us now, capital is not a challenge. We have very high quality investors backing us up. So it's just how can you, at what pace can you get the right set of people into the organization so as to ensure that you keep on growing at the required pace.
In terms of your scaling up plans, since the time you raised capital to where you are now, what are the kind of major milestones while you've scaled up have happened in the journey of NetAmbit?
Okay, so we raised the first round of capital in 2007. That point of time we were a 200 member company. We were largely focusing on only insurance as an area. And after I think we raised a capital, I think one of the biggest things that we have done is we have added people at the leadership level. So earlier the company was being managed and run by 3 of us who are the co-founders of this company. And after that, I think we started hiring or attracting good talent into the organization, because then people started joining us saying, hey, when a fund like Bessemer has taken a call of investing into this company, which is a very high which is a very marquee fund, and I think so that is something wherein we started attracting a lot of people at the leadership level. And today I'm very happy to share with you, Shrija, that we have a 34 member leadership team. Most of these people are very, very, very high caliber professionals. Most of them are from either IIMs or top business schools. They are either chartered accountants and very high caliber professionals overall. So I think that's a big change which happened to us, once we raised capital. And after that, from 200 people, we have grown to around 4,000 people in 4 years' time. That's the kind of scale we have seen. We always had strong processes in place earlier also, and we had a very unique and profitable model earlier also. The only thing, as I said, told you earlier, that capital was always a constraint before we raised private equity. So after we raised private equity, we really were able to scale very well, and from just a single product organization, we now have all financial products, all brands which are available with us. So that's the kind of change we saw after we raised capital.
So what is the kind of ultimate positioning for NetAmbit? You're telling me upstairs when we chat a little about this thing, you're telling me you basically want to be a financial services supermarket.
Yeah.
So how are we seeing this NetAmbit going towards that?
So NetAmbit has already become a financial services supermarket, as I shared with you. Today we have all financial products. We are a single stop shop for all financial products, all brands. So if a consumer sitting anywhere in this country, we reach out to that consumer. Unfortunately, financial products in this country is still a push category. It's not pull. So not too many consumers would wake up one morning and say, hey, I want to really take an insurance, or I really want to, maybe in some categories like a home loan, yes, it happens. When you make up your mind to buy a loan, you definitely start looking for a home loan. So the moment we reach out to a consumer and whatever their needs are, I think we're able to fulfill all financial needs as on date. So I think in true sense, we have become a financial services supermarket now.
When you say push marketing, push to what extent? I mean, you do cold calls. I mean, how is that been a success? Do you there have to be time when you really kind of bug people with these calls and stuff like that? You must have had these kind of experiences.
Yes, so I think the experiences, so India is a very unique market. It has broadly two categories of markets. One is your metros and large towns. Therein definitely people get bugged up with, at times with these calls. And I think our strategy in metro now is slightly moving towards more of a combination of push and pull. If you see, we recently did an acquisition of Rupee Talk, which is an internet-based model. And we are really seeing a lot of traffic into Rupee Talk from metro. So somewhere there is a metro consumer who's more aware. They really don't want to be pushed a lot, and we are seeing some signs of pull, and that too in certain categories of products there is more pull than push. So that's happening. And then there are these tier 2, 3, 4 towns where again NetAmbit is very strong. So for example, today 67% of our revenues come from tier 2 and tier 2, 3 and 4 towns. Therein the consumers really feel very good. So if when we make cold calls to them, they really feel that they really feel good that, hey, here is someone who's trying to explain to me various products. Not all of them end up buying from us,
Sure.
but I think in the situation in tier 2, 3 and 4 towns is very different. People are very happy to kind of get these calls. They're very happy to meet up with us. So the number of leads that we generate in these smaller towns is much higher than what we do in metros. And metros also, there are two categories. One is the HNI segment, which NetAmbit as an organization we don't cater to at all. And I think that problem is there more on the high net worth individuals or people who are in the upper middle class. They are normally mostly occupied and they don't really want to get too many calls, etc. But I think metros also has a lower middle class and middle class segment, I think, which is the mid market segment. There also we don't face much challenges in that.
Okay. Girish, you have been consistently raising private capital in terms of Bessemer, venture partners infusing money into you. Then you have around with Helion recently. What exactly is the rationale behind raising money at various points of time?
Shrija, so we have raised 3 rounds of capital. Series A was way back in 2007 with Bessemer Venture Partners. Then we did Series B in 2009 with Bessemer and Helion co-investing. And then we did Series C, in which again Bessemer and Helion have put in more money. Series A and B were largely towards growth and expansion, because as I explained to you earlier, the Indian markets are extremely big when it comes to sales and setting up sales and distribution for financial products. And there are some 6,000 cities and towns in which financial products can be sold. Today we are present only in 150. So you need capital to really start a lot of these new towns, set up new infrastructure in case of our direct marketing channel for the call centers, etc., etc. So a large part of Series A and B went into expansion and growth, and in future also will maybe raise more capital for growth. Then Series C was largely towards IT. So a lot of the money that we have raised in Series C, approximately 50% of that money will get invested into IT, because IT was one area that we believe that we were slightly underinvested in till a year back. And we were really very keen to now kind of expand and grow our investments into IT, because we strongly believe the way the Indian markets are going and the way we are expanding, a very robust and strong IT framework is required to really ensure that your right control systems are in place. So we really now want to go to the extent of connecting our frontline staff, on an online basis with our IT platform. So the dream is, or the vision is, that when our person visits the consumer at their household, maybe in some small tier 2, 3, 4 town or in a rural area, they should ideally be able to connect online with our servers, give them comparisons, give them knowledge, share with consumers whatever best it's available in form of knowledge with us. And also being able to really process their request then and there itself to whatever extent the regulations in the country allow. So for example, a lot of financial products today the regulations allow, they can be sold then and there itself. So so the idea is to connect our last mile or the front level staff. So we want to go to that extent in terms of making IT investments. We also want to invest heavily on the internet side. So we just acquired rupeetalk.com 6-7 months back, and I think we really want to raise our investments on IT front on the internet side. So approximately 50% of the capital raised in Series C will get into that, and approximately 15% of it will go in trying to create a retail brand. So, Ashija, another thing that we did was, we have never invested in creating a retail consumer brand because we always believed initially, that a financial products market is a push market, which we still believe, it is still push. It's still a 90% push, and maybe a little bit it's started moving towards pull. And so we abstained from investing a lot of money in trying to create a retail brand. So NetAmbit today is a very strong industry brand. It's a very strong employer brand. But on the retail consumer side, it's not a very well-known brand. So now I think we're going to start that exercise. We're going to start that journey, and we want to use some of that investments into marketing and brand building, so that maybe over next 18 to 24 months we are there in terms of being known as a kind of a well-known brand on the retail consumer side. So I think that's where all the investments have gone into or will go into.
So it's a retail brand, and what exactly do you mean? Like everyone on the street knows NetAmbit?
Yes.
Retail consumer?
Yes. It makes a lot of sense for us to do that whenever they think of buying a financial product, their first choice should be NetAmbit.
Okay. Now you say that expansion plans. Can you just give us a little more insight into your expansion plans for, like, say 3 years? Time-wise?
Okay, so by around 2013-14, we have a target of hitting around 350 crores in revenues, and we intend to be present in 500 cities or locations all across the country,
Okay.
up from 150 now.
Yeah. You also said that chunk of your revenues come from tier 2, tier 3 cities. Does that mean that going forward, much of your focus would be in these areas?
That's where I think any organization which is trying to build any kind of sales and distribution in this country needs to focus on, because that's where the true potential lies. That's where these markets are underpenetrated. That's where the need is most, need is there, but there are not too many people who can reach to these cities or towns in a very cost-effective manner. And I think our model is really well suited to reach out to tier 2, 3 and 4 towns and even to the rural markets in a very, very cost efficient manner. So definitely would like to focus a lot in these markets.
How is the rural piece coming along?
So it's too early to kind of comment on that, but I think our direct marketing model, which is again a call center based model, is a very cost efficient way of reaching out to the end consumer, especially for the financial products. So I think be it a tier 2 market or a metro market or a rural market, the cost involved is the same, because what you're doing is you are doing the need identification over phone rather than using a physical or a manpower or someone who's a feet on street to really kind of go to the end consumer and try to do the need identifications. So that reduces your cost of acquisition to a great extent. So it's a very cost effective model, it's a very efficient model, and I think it will work very well in the rural areas also, is what we believe.
So it really helped you to keep your costs low in terms of organization. This has been a very important factor in scaling up the organization, I believe.
Yes, so our operating costs, we try to kind of keep them under control. I think what's helped us to keep the cost low is the fact. So I think on the cost side, we've always we keep a very close eye on how our costs are behaving. Our MIs are extremely strong. We keep a very close eye, and I think we just ensure that we are there at the optimal structure in terms of the way we are organized. So I think these are the few things which have always helped us to really keep our costs under control. I think what we do better is, our revenue efficiencies are very high. So in fact, the kind of efficiencies we drive by using our processes, systems, and the kind of passion we have as an organization is at least 3 times higher than anybody else in this country who operates in the similar space. So I think that is something which makes us stand apart.
Okay. So that we have seen, you have consistently grown in revenues. That
Yeah.
has consistently grown.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a very progressive journey, very consistent. So in terms of that, you said 350 crore revenues projection that you have 2013. What is the revenue projection you have for this year?
This year we should end the year at around 150-160 crores is what we are very confident of.
When you have this kind of difficult revenue chasing target and sales target in the organization, how do you ensure the quality of sales being done?
So we again have very strong processes around the quality of sales. We again had a little bit of bad experience in quarter 2 of last financial year, but we really come back very strongly on it. And I think what we have is, again, by having very strong processes on the way the sale we have a lot of controls, audits around it, and I think we're able to control our quality extremely well. To just give you one of the examples, any sale which happens across product categories anywhere in India, we have a process called pre-login verification, wherein we, before that particular product that we have sold, because since we are an intermediary, whatever products we sell at the end of the day, either they are logged with an insurance company or with a bank or with a mutual fund company. What we do is, before that product, we allow our sales guy to log that application form with the respective manufacturer, which in this case, as I said, there could be an insurer or a bank. We do a pre-login verification call with the end consumer, and all those calls are recorded. And we have a defined script which we kind of agree upon with the compliance heads of various of these banks or insurance companies, and we do 100% pre-login verification. We record those calls, we keep those calls with us for future reference, just in case there is a dispute or a complaint that the consumer has, and we're able to pull out those calls, and so those calls have all practically every aspect of that product that the customer needs to know. I think is there is a part of that call, and I think that has really worked very well for us, and I think it definitely would happen to any organization, Shrija. When you scale up very fast, there is a possibility that for some point of time or during some duration your quality might take a little bit of beating, but we are extremely sensitive to that. And I think this pre-login verification process which we came out with 9 months back is kind of foolproof, and I think after that our experience has been very, very good, and we hardly get around 11 to 12 complaints a month, and we acquire close to 7 to 8,000 consumers, fresh consumers every month. So I think it's a small error which still happens, and reaching to a zero errors situation is definitely desirable, but it's a little tough.
So we also see that the companies like PolicyBazaar.com and some online insurance aggregators and those kind of lead generation model online companies, and also did an acquisition of RepeatTalk.com. So what do you think about this entire online financial service distribution space? Do you think it's really come of age yet?
So Shrija, I think it's not an online distribution space. It's today, I would say it's an online lead generation space. They are not doing distribution, none of them, including RepeatTalk. Because there are two aspects. One is the regulatory aspect in terms of what products can you actually sell online. B, there is an aspect of the complexity of selling a product online. So some of these products are extremely complex, which you can't really sell online. And third issue is the consumer's level of awareness in itself. Wherein a lot of consumers, are they really comfortable buying those products online? So I think in India, I think there's still some time wherein you can really say that financial products will be sold online. So as of now, yes, there is definitely a lead gen which happens online. A lot of these sites do generate leads online, and I think, but you need a physical offline fulfillment engine the way that we have our engine, which supports RepeatTalk today, to really ensure that there's an end-to-end fulfillment, including in markets like US. So I was the other day speaking to a gentleman who runs a company called Vimo in US. And he was saying that approximately out of whatever sales they do, and they're an internet health insurance aggregator. So whatever they sell, approximately 40-45% of the closure happens online, and for the remaining 50-55% of the closures, they still need a offline involvement. So in evolved markets like US, that's the state of affairs, and that too in a category of health insurance, which is largely a pull category. So I think in India, there's still some time when the online distribution settles down and true essence as on date.
Okay. So I think in terms of the competition, any major competitors that you have right now, you think, or you're the market leader in terms of?
Well, there is definitely competition, A, from banks, and B, from few players in our own space who are like intermediaries like us. So we have competition from Bajaj Capital. We have competition for few more stock brokers or equity brokers who also do financial products distribution. But as I told you, the market is so underpenetrated, so there is no actually real competition at the consumer end. So theoretically, yes, there is a competition, but actually when you go to meet a consumer, there is not really much, competition while you are trying to sell the product.
The way you have scaled up your enterprise, from a 150 crore, 150 people organization to like 6,000 people in the span of like 4 years, only raised like 3 rounds of capital. How did you achieve that? What are the key lessons of entrepreneurship that you've learned along the way? A few lessons of good things and few mistakes. I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs watching this would really want to know.
There have been tremendous learnings in last 4 years. I think the biggest learning that I've had as an entrepreneur till date is I think you should always be honest and transparent with all stakeholders. And I think you need to think win-win for all the stakeholders. I think that's been the biggest learning.